Hi, I'm Nikita Lalwani. I'm a writer. I'm here to talk about my new book, You People, which is a book about moral choices. How far would you go to break the law? And when is it desirable to break the law? When should we help those who are in need? And when should we ignore them? The book is set in a restaurant in southwest London where there is an enigmatic proprietor. He's a kind of godlike figure, a kind of Robin Hood. He runs a life surgery where you can go if you need money, a loan, a gift, legal aid, and if you need to be reunited with your family. The restaurant consists of the front of house, which is legal. There are waitresses from Spain, Italy, Wales, and it consists of the back where you have the illegal immigrants who are fleeing the Sri Lankan war in the early noughties. On some level, the book is about the bleed through, what happens when public meets private, legal meets illegal, what happens when you make a decision that spirals out of control. I'm also here to talk about books that have had an impact on me. I'm going to start with a book that is relatively recent. It's by Tessa Hadley and it's called Late in the Day. I really love this book. I'm a big fan of Hadley's work generally, but this book is a rich, textured chocolate dessert of a novel. It's full of seemingly unassuming prose, and yet every line illuminates. It's really a masterclass in how to draw character with a single line and to have that line reverberate so that meaning is spoken and unspoken at the same time. I'm really a fan of Hadley's, but this book is one that was influencing me as I was writing You People. Secondly, I'm going to talk about White Noise by Delillo. I read Delillo a lot, which is dangerous when you're writing because there's a level of bombast and bravado that can infiltrate your work if you're not careful. It's not always safe to channel too much Delillo when you're writing. But this book, there's never a wrong time to read it. I just love how humorous it is, how absurd it is, how it's all about the many different things we do to populate our life, our lives. It's really an exploration of familial relations, professional relations, the nuclear family, parenting, hobbies, the ridiculous aspects of tourism, and why we photograph places in order to keep them. Mortality, the fear of death. There's just so much in this book, and it just keeps on giving. And it always feels current to me, even though I read it every few years and even though it was written so long ago. The third book is Winter in July by Doris Lessing, which is one of my favourite books by Doris Lessing because it's just this howl of anger at colonialism. That howl has some self-loathing in it. It's about Lessing's time living in Africa. And there's such a dirty honesty in it that I can only admire it when I'm reading it, both as a writer and just when I'm reading it for pleasure. Although pleasure is the wrong word, there are so many uncomfortable situations in this book of short stories, and often the stories are so short and yet they stay with you for so long. It's a lesson in how to access the truth. You just keep furrowing, you just keep going when you're writing, and you don't stop because you're embarrassed, and possibly opening up the source of that embarrassment is something very rich for you as a writer. That's what I took from this book, Winter in July.